A very good morning, it's Fabio and welcome back. EURUSD has continued to push up higher exactly as expected, pushing into our overall liquidity high here, which is the black line. Now, as you guys know, there are currently two trades on the table and I'm going to go through them with you here in this video. Now, before I dive in, guys, today I'm going live at 2:30 Central Eastern Time on the main YouTube channel, and I am dropping continuous, very valuable updates inside Discord, so make sure to join there as well. Link in the description. It's also where I shared full proof of taking these positions and yeah, much more. Now, EURUSD bullish on the daily time frame. The overall swing leg up happened previously over here, push in towards the upside. We came back down, retraced into internal liquidity, and from there again headed up in towards the highs. Now, since then, we started to see an overall retracement, very weak lows here, which we took all out and pushed into the final overall liquidity low. And from there, we've been continuously pushing in towards the highs. Now, the reason why it was complicated to trade EURUSD in recent weeks was because the overall internal trend was clearly bearish. As you can see here, the overall green zones are impulses, and ultimately what you want to be doing is you want to be trading in line with what the daily trend is, but also with what the 4-hour trend is. However, as we can see, we traded the entire pullback on EURUSD because throughout the month of September and October, we were discussing the overall short positions. We traded it into the final liquidity low, which now has caused kind of like the biggest reversal that we have yet seen in the entire leg, or since, let's say, September, in towards the upside, right? This is the biggest leg currently that we've seen in towards the upside. Now, this is obviously caused when you get to the final low here of EURUSD. This low here is causing the overall reversal. Now, in order to, again, take any further shorts in towards the downside, as I've been discussing for quite some time now, what needs to happen is that you need to take out the bump in the road of the impulse. And the bump in the road is your liquidity high. So in order to get that full-blown high probability short, because obviously it doesn't always happen, but for the highest probability short, we needed to take out this high, which has now been done. Now, with the takeout of this high, there is now a potential short coming into play to look for on EURUSD. Now, when can we then take this overall short? That's obviously the next question. Now, first of all, what is the overall market structure? Swing high and swing low. We've retraced into premium pricing and we have finally taken out the overall liquidity high, which is situated over here. So therefore, you have overall all the major confluences now pretty much aligning. The only one that doesn't align for an overall short position is obviously that the daily time frame here is still bullish, right? We've had the impulse, we've had the retracement, and now we're in the impulse. Now, there is one more short opportunity on EURUSD. This for me is pretty much kind of like the final shorting opportunity that we can start looking for once we get the lower time frame confirmation, which I'll show you in a second. But this is definitely a region from where we can look for that short position. Though, if we break this high here and we break the 3 monthly open with a clean break, then that would mean that what? The overall internal trend is then bullish from this low in towards, let's say, the high that is then established here. And a retracement can then facilitate the next long move in towards the highs, because then we have the overall swing structure that is bullish. And we also then have the overall internal structure that was once bearish, now flipping bullish as well. And then you'll have full alignment. So the only reason why these shorts are kind of like still risky is because of the fact that EURUSD internally, so on the 4-hour time frame, is still trending in towards the downside. Now, the overall short that I'm looking for, guys, is here, mainly on the 12-hour time frame. And that is after really taking out the final liquidity high that we have over here, which has been done. Now, together with taking this out, we've also retraced into this very beautiful imbalance area of supply. Now, if you know me for quite some time, there's a 50% body candle indicator. And once that gets engulfed, that is often a strong area of supply. I'm looking for that zone to get hit. And from there, if we then see an overall, let's say, what do we want to see? We want to see a change of character. And we want to see downside momentum come into play. That is the real moment when we will be looking for a short position. Now, at the moment, guys, we have a overall bullish order flow, meaning that this here is the overall sell before the buy that pushed the market up higher. Here again, sell before the buy, that pushed the market up higher. Here again, sell before the buy, that pushed the market up higher. And now once again, we have an overall sell before the buy positioned right over here. Now, this sell down before the buy up, that is what you need to monitor, because you have now, or you are now creating a bump in the road here. This bump in the road, that could facilitate in the future, let's say, another push in towards the highs. So I'm not looking to trade that overall change of character to then take an overall short position, okay? What I am looking to do is I'm looking for a clear break of the overall order flow, then the overall retest, and then I'll get into a short position on EURUSD. That is currently what I am waiting for, to look for a short position here on the euro against the dollar. If you're looking for longs, then what you want to see a breakout, then you want to see a retracement taking out, let's say, liquidity here or liquidity here, and then we can look for the next long opportunity in towards the upside, okay? So those are the two potential trades that we have there on EURUSD. Now, going into the dollar index, how did we know that the dollar index was going to sell off further? Well, the main reason for that, first of all, since let's say yesterday, was because of the fact that the internal order flow remained bearish, right? We had an overall supply zone here, retraced in, pushed back down. Then again, we had an overall buy before the sell here. What happened? We had a little bump in the road right below it. Together with the monthly open, we took out that bump in the road. We hit the overall supply zone, we hit the overall monthly open, and from there now again we've been selling off. And now I expect still there to be further downside for the dollar index. I'm currently looking at this blue line over here, and what you would ultimately want to see again is the reversal take place somewhere from there back in towards the highs. Now, looking at the dollar index is obviously still bullish as long as the overall low here holds. This blue dotted line, this is the low, this is the high. At the time, we failed to put in a new high, showing to me that momentum was weakening. Then these lows here didn't achieve anything. They didn't break the overall previous high. Therefore, for me, these were all weak lows, and that's why at this point in time, I was just calling for that further downside. Now, on the dollar index, I'm just looking for this to head down lower towards the main liquidity low, because here to the left, I don't really as well see anything that can cause like a full-blown reversal. Only this major bump in the road here, that for me is kind of like more low that could really cause something. So let's monitor that low, and from there we'll then see if we can get some new potential longs, okay? So that's the dollar index and why I was still looking for further shorts on the dollar and why I was therefore looking for longs on EURUSD. Now going into GBPUSD, we can see that GBPUSD is nearing the overall liquidity high over here. I would still want to see that get hit before really thinking about shorting it at all. Let's monitor the overall blue dotted line here, and then from there we can look for potential shorts again. For the rest, the pound remains bearish for myself, though we have obviously seen quite the rebound on the pound due to the pricing in of the overall, let's say November budget. That caused the pricing in of that caused for the massive drop. Now, the November budget didn't seem to be as bad as most would think, and that's now causing a temporary rebound here on the pound. So for itself, I'm looking for shorts, but obviously momentum is very high still in towards the upside. Overall, we still have this as your clean supply zone, and ultimately the ideal shorts would come once you break that, retest the monthly open, and then look for another short. So kind of like the ideal short would happen over here. Let's say something like that. Going into NZDUSD and AUDUSD. So AUDUSD first, AU has continued pushing up higher, so the Australian dollar remains strong against the US dollar. Now, what we can see here is that we're starting to do what we wanted. And again, what we've highlighted pretty much all week / last week as well is that AUDUSD is very consolidative. Definitely not my top pick, but yes, the overall market structure, low, high, internal lows here get grabbed. I mean, yeah, it has been playing out. So overall, what's now happening here is that we're breaking above the 3 monthly open. Let's see if it continues a little bit more, then look for the retest and then look for some more longs. That could be definitely a play there on AUDUSD. Not looking for any shorts on that. NZDUSD also looking for more longs. Obviously, the long that we called has played out yesterday. I called that there were longs potentially from this demand over here or from the overall liquidity low over here. Again, if you want more kind of like context, join the Discord, guys, because yeah, I've been sharing everything on NZDUSD for you there. Now, very often after a long period of markets trending downwards, the first break of structure in towards the upside often goes paired with a very small retracement, hence why I was happy to take this kind of like a little bit more aggressively. But furthermore, this was also just a very nice setup because you liquidated the overall internal low here, and then again internal low here, and then push up, push up, so some clean price action there, and now ultimately I'm just going to be looking for more upside continuation from NZDUSD, pretty much like this, and I would view this, for example, as an internal low, and then we can look for a bounce from there if it retraces in the near future. USDCAD, USD Swiss, USD and Gold. So USDCAD slow. Yeah, I kind of told you guys already, not really expecting too much of this, but as long as the overall low here holds, I'm still expecting higher prices. But yeah, it's consolidating. At some point in time, it's going to move very, very fast, but for now, it's just consolidating. USDJPY is probably pushing down lower. Yeah, so I've highlighted this as well. It's not my favorite pick. Why? Because we've been coming from the yearly open, again rejecting the monthly open here to absolute perfection. I'm not going to be surprised if this heads down lower. It's still very unlikely, or it's still very likely, excuse me, that there's going to be somewhat of an unwinding of the carry trade, and at the end, in the near future, is going to appreciate in value. So keep in mind, I do expect in the very near term future there to be a massive move on the Japanese yen. This mainly has to do with the Japanese yields. Let me just get the right yield chart for you guys, because you really need to see this, because Japanese yields, guys, are on an absolute rocket ship in towards the upside, nearly at 2%. Now this is extremely risky for the Central Bank of Japan, because interest rates in Japan are currently at, if I'm not mistaken, 0.5%. But if the yields are going to, let's say, 2%, who is going to be buying that overall government debt? Now, I might understand that this sounds complicated, but if it does sound complicated for you, please join the Discord, because I'm dropping updates on this there. And I would not be surprised with a massive, could be even 1,000 pip drop in the near future on USDJPY and across all yen pairs. Moving into USDCHF, so yeah, USDJPY not looking for longs. On the trend shift, we can start looking for shorts. USDCHF still looking for further shorts. This has been playing out perfectly. Don't really need to highlight this more. All week long, I've been calling for further downside, in the sense that we've been consolidating and we were trading at the 75% fib, and this still looks good to head down lower for another 130 pips. At least towards these equal lows here. So yeah, looking for further downside, and then obviously any retracement, liquidation, like we, for example, had over here. That's just another opportunity to go short. Impulse in towards the downside, liquidity, internal liquidity, go short again. Now you've just had a break of structure, so you don't get into shorts here. No, you wait for maybe another push down, then the rebound, take out internal liquidity here or here, and then go for a new short from the monthly open again with your stop loss above the highs. And then of course we have gold. So gold over here is consolidating quite a bit, still looking for further upside and just waiting for maybe some more liquidations. We've had a break of structure in towards the highs. Here we have one of the cleanest trend lines I've seen in a while on gold. I would love to see somewhat of a liquidation maybe of those lows, then kind of like the next phase in towards the highs again. But obviously, gold could already start pumping. Then also perfectly fine. Then we'll just get in on some of the liquidity lows that are then formed around the monthly open, which is a natural area of support and resistance. So yeah, only still looking for longs on gold. Same goes for metals in general. Still looking for further longs on copper as well. This is getting into an interesting region here. Looking for longs on this as well. But I'll highlight that inside Discord. So yeah, guys, it's been a good week. Some very good and clean moves. And sharing proof of all of that inside Discord. So yeah, if you're not in there, you're definitely missing out. And I'll see you guys in today's live session. Thanks.